Welcome to my channel to everyone who's new here and of course to those of you who are back again, great to have you here. In this video we will take a look together at possible scenarios for the price development of Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP and Solana. Things remain exciting, so make sure to watch until the end. And if you also want to start trading, then you see in the video description two different crypto exchanges. The first one is mexc, which is blocked in the US. So I partnered up with Bitunix, which also has its license for the US market. For both crypto exchanges, I provide you a 20% discount on those taker fees. So let's start with Bitcoin. So we have said for Bitcoin that we had here two different bearish chart patterns. The first one is in orange, the rising wedge. The second one is the double top pattern. Both broke to the downside. Here was the circle. This was a fair value gap, so the first target. I didn't short it, but it would have been short to me if we break the 103,480 US dollar to the downside. This didn't happen and we got a push there, so basically I can still keep that price mark in my mind, 103,480 US dollar, but I can take out the bearish targets because we broke to the upside. I will still keep that support. So when we broke the 104,888 US dollar to the upside, the target was the 106,460 US dollar. We went into that target just a bit later. For me, it was the chances to get into that area were low to me. I was thinking that we are going to break to the downside and sell off. In the end of the day, okay, we pushed to the upside, but you can already see that we get the push to the upside and we got a huge red candle. Here the same, push to the upside where we got a bit higher high, but here we are going to sell off again. And the sell-offs are kind of sharp in my opinion. If we break the 106,460 US dollar to the upside, then we have the chance getting up to 107,596 US dollars, so around about 600. If we also break it to the upside, then we have here a fair value gap. But being bullish for Bitcoin, is currently if we break the price mark of 108,500 US dollar to the upside. If we do, then I can say, okay, new all-time high is most likely getting in play. But we can also just get into the second retest of the head and shoulders formatation, which we have formed a bit ago. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. In orange you can see the trend line. So if we go for the retest, which is the 107,600 US dollar, and we get rejected there, then I can just take the target of the length of the head, put it then to the retest point. And then you can see the target is going to be perfectly the 101,990 US dollar, which is support. So with this push to the downside, we already worked off the length of one shoulder, and I like most likely taking the target of one shoulder, this one here, put it then to the breakout point. And as you can see, we went perfectly into the target. The target of the head is not always getting in play, and it's not always getting hit. But with the second retest, it might be possible that we get another low at around about 102,000 US dollar. I will put you here the price mark, or no, I would just move this one here. 102,000 US dollar. Why? Because that would be the length of the head. We take it to the retest point, and also we have built up stop losses lower than the lows here, and we can fish them. So basically, when we get the verification, 103,500 US dollar is going to be where I would say, okay, here it's going to be very fast into 102,000 US dollar, and here the chances also increase that we even break the 102,000 US dollar to the downside. But as you can see, we already have here a trend line. I will also make this one red. So if we break the 104,900 US dollar to the downside, then it would be also short to me. into 103,500 US dollar. And there we have to see if we are going to break to the downside. Bitcoin is not long to me at the moment, as long as we don't break the 108,550 US dollar to the upside. It can just get a development like this, and then we just form a rising wedge over the time, which we break to the downside, which would be even more bearish, and we get a new target. So let's wait for the chart pattern for Bitcoin. So, a bit different looked Ethereum. Yesterday, we were here, and I have told you that we are in a rectangle, and my personal opinion was that we are going to break to the downside. We didn't break to the downside, so Ethereum wasn't short at all. The target was here yesterday, but since it's a rectangle, if we break the 2,550 US dollar to the upside, then we just take the spread of that box, put it to the breakout point, and you can see we already hit the target for Ethereum. And yesterday I also had on the chart, or 2 days ago, that I was looking for the second retest of the bright blue trend line, which is the rising wedge. I just deleted it yesterday because I was thinking, okay, we go straight down and go for the targets. Since we didn't break to the downside, Ethereum wasn't short in that time. Anyways, since we broke to the upside, got to the target of that rectangle, got the second retest of the rising wedge, I can't be bullish for Ethereum. The only thing I can do is, we have two targets for that rising wedge. The first one is the spread of the rising wedge, and the other one is the mid-range spread. This one here. We can now put it to the second retest. Then you can see the targets didn't move a bit. They moved a bit. Before we had the target at 2,220 US dollar, now we have it at 2,275 US dollar, and for the mid-range target 2,370 US dollar for Ethereum. So if we go into the 50 minutes chart, then you can already see, let me take this one out here to the side, this one too. So we have here a red trend line with several touch points, one here, two here, a fourth one here, a fifth one here, and a sixth one here. So 6 touch points. If we lose that support, which is currently the 2,604 US dollar, then we should drop to 2,590 US dollar. But if we break the 2,590 US dollar to the downside and we don't get a massive push to the upside, then we would just have here a double top pattern, which afterwards breaks to the downside, target 2,530 US dollar for Ethereum. We also have here a fair value gap, and the target of the rectangle. So a rectangle is very unique. We usually get into the target of both directions. So if we break to the upside, then we get into the target of the if we break to the upside, then we get into the target, but afterwards we should drop to the target from the lower side, because we have many stop losses lower than that. We have a lot of liquidity and liquidations lower than that trend line. So basically what I think is that we can't be bullish. I've also told you since a few days that the order in how we are going to break a rectangle to the upside or to the downside is more important than breaking it. I wanted to see breaking it to the downside first, and then maybe on the 2,400 US dollar we could see a nice push to the upside. But for now it looks to me that we broke here to the downside, we got our retest, we get our follow through into the 2,400 US dollar. And I have some chart patterns which are going to tell me that the 2,400 US dollar is our target at the moment. And over the days we can even drop down to 2,325 US dollar, where we have the next support, and 2,220 US dollar for Ethereum. So what about XRP? We have also said if XRP breaks the $2.13 to the downside, then it would be short. Instead, we broke the green trend line to the upside. We retested it twice. And we got our follow through into the $2.28. Let me delete this one here. We had our target from the head and shoulders formatation, which is the length of one shoulder. I think I took this one, yes. Put it to the breakout point. We hit the target. Then we had the falling wedge. Target of that. We usually take it, put it to the breakout point, but when we got a retest or a lower price afterwards, and here is the lower price, then we put it to the lower price, and you can see it already. We missed the target by, I don't know, 2 or 3 cents maybe, so we hit the target. Can also take the falling wedge out now. So what about now? I think it is kind of positive. We have to go into the 1 hour chart. Let me also take this one out. We had in the past a falling wedge, this green trend line. I will also make this one green here, so it's the same color. This was a falling wedge. It broke to the downside, it got several times a retest. Then we broke it to the upside, it got another retest. Now we broke it to the upside, and this might be the retest. So if this is the case, and we don't get a candle close lower than the green trend line again, then I can expect even getting prices up to $2.38 for XRP or $2.43 for XRP. But if we should lose that green trend line, then it's not looking positive. But we can still get over it. I would say now, that's why I will make this blue trend line now to red. If we lose the support at $2.20 again, then I would say this was just a correction to the upside. We had, for example, this down move, this correction to the upside, and afterwards continuing our down move for XRP. And then you can already see it here. I have a big circle between $1.86 to $1.92. There is a fair value gap. This is going to be the target. So let's see what XRP is going to do. So what about Solana? Solana went weird a bit. The whole chart development went weird. We had here a red trend line on the chart, which broke to the downside. But we got a higher low on the chart, this one here. So we already broke it here to the downside. We got a push to the upside. But with this break, I wanted to see a follow through. Then I would have said, okay, 145 US dollars going to be the target, or even the 132 US dollar in one go. The thing is that the target of the rising wedge, which you can see in orange, it's still ongoing. We didn't invalidate that pattern. And for Solana, we even have the chance to get up to 169 US dollar in my opinion. But here I would be careful. Yeah, if we don't sell off now, then up here, and we can still meet the target of 133 US dollar. And here we have to see and have to track if this was just a correction. We have to go into the 4-hour chart. So you can already see it. Here is a push. Here is a correction. Here's another push. This might be just a correction. And afterwards maybe one last high for Solana. So we have to track this. We have to see getting down within a bullish pattern. For example, like here also in orange, a falling wedge. So we got always lower prices, but we have formed a falling wedge. We broke it to the upside. And here's the price development. And I want to see some kind of price development for Solana, that we break to the downside. We get, for example, this push to the upside. And then over the time we get into the 132 US dollar and we form some kind of an falling wedge. if we afterwards break it to the upside, then we can even go for $200 in my opinion. So this is my current game plan for the coins. Solana, I don't know, since it's weird, since we broke the red trend line to the downside, for sure I can take this one out now. Not red anymore. I don't want to trade Solana at the moment. The whole chart structure looks weird to me. I had my red trend line on the chart. It didn't worked. So basically, yeah, it is okay. Not a huge deal. Can happen. So I hope that I gave you some valuable information with today's update to Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP and Solana. In round about 30 minutes or 45 minutes, I'm going to release the update to Sui, AVAX, HBAR and Dogecoin, and afterwards I will upload Render, Tau, Kaspa and ONDO. See you then.